on to this episode. In this episode, my aim is to try to help you establish the link between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, hereinafter referred to as AI, ML, and DL, respectively. Okay, so I'm going to help you to establish the link between AI, ML, and DL. Before I go ahead to give any explanation, I want you to remember what I'm going to write on the board because it's very important. And what I mean is AI is greater than ML, which is greater than DL. Now, once you capture this in your mind, you understand everything this episode is all about. So this says AI is greater than ML, which in turn is greater than DL. What it means is that if I'm to represent this as a set, then AI is the outermost set, which has ML in it, and inside ML we have deep learning. Okay, so deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. In the previous video, I attempted to explain to you what artificial intelligence is about, where we are trying to give computers the ability to be able to acquire and apply knowledge. Now, machine learning is one of the approaches in artificial intelligence where it involves, instead of hard coding rules that the computer is supposed to follow to become intelligent, you rather expose the computer to a lot of data, millions of data. And this is data that is labeled. I will explain this to you in subsequent videos to come. But you expose your computer or your machine learning model to a lot of labeled data. And by labeled data, what I mean is human beings have to take hundreds of thousands or even millions of data and indicate what that data represents. So, for instance, if I'm building a model to distinguish a cup from a spoon, then I need millions of images of cups and millions of images of spoons, and I have to sit and manually identify which one is a spoon and which one is a cup. And once I have this labeled data set, I expose it to the machine learning model, and the machine learning model is able to learn representations or capture information from the data that I have exposed it to, and is able to distinguish between a cup and a fork. So machine learning is an approach to artificial intelligence, because apart from machine learning, there are other approaches like rule-based systems or rule-based expert systems where programmers had to manually hard code rules that the computer is supposed to follow to be able to come up with some expected output. So for instance, if I'm using the rule-based approach of AI to train a computer to be able to distinguish benign cancer cells from malignant cancer cells, then what I'll have to do is get a doctor who is an expert in that field to tell me, the programmer, what it means, all the process he has to go through to be able to classify a set of medical image or a medical picture as something representing a malignant tumor or something that is representing a benign tumor. And once all those rules have been obtained from the medical doctor, the programmer has to sit and then manually write code so that the computer has to follow. So it's going to be a bunch of if statements, okay? So if you find this, and you find this, and you find this, and you find this, at the end of the day, you find out that it is intractable. It is quite cumbersome, and it is prone to errors. So rule-based systems is one approach to artificial intelligence, but because this is not the focus of it, I'm not going to talk about it any further. Now, like I said, machine learning is an approach to AI where you expose your computer or your model to a lot of data, a lot of labeled data or unlabeled data, depending on the type of machine learning you want to perform, which we'll talk about in the next video. Okay, now how is machine learning different from deep learning? Because they seek to do similar things, and as you can see from here, deep learning is actually embedded inside machine learning. So deep learning is also a unique approach to doing machine learning, the same way machine learning is a unique approach to doing artificial intelligence. And the difference between deep learning and machine learning is very, very interesting. When you come to machine learning, we have different types of algorithms for solving different types of problems, different types of machine learning problems. For example, we have things like support vector machines, also known as SVM. This is V, okay? So we have support vector machines, we have decision trees, we have logistic regression, we have linear regression, and a whole different types of algorithms for solving specific problems. Okay, so in ML you have all these different types of algorithms, and you as a practitioner need to be able to establish the connection between the problem domain and which algorithm you are supposed to apply to solve that problem if you are using the machine learning approach to artificial intelligence. Now, what is interesting about deep learning and what distinguishes it from all the different types or different approaches to doing ML is that deep learning presents to us one algorithm that is able to solve almost every problem that tends to be solvable by that algorithm, and it is known as gradient descent. Gradient descent using back propagation. Okay, so when it comes to deep learning, we don't have different algorithms for different types of problems. For example, if I want to use deep learning to build a model that is able to identify armed guys from guys who are not armed, I don't need a different set of algorithm if I want to attempt to build something like Alexa, which is a voice recognition system, or a wake word detector, or if I want to build a model that is able to identify cancer from non-cancer cells, or I want to be able to build a model that translates English words to French words. I do not need different algorithms for all these things. It is one algorithm that is able to solve all these problems, okay? And the reason why people tend to make a link between deep learning and the human brain is because it is scientifically proven with facts from research that if the part of the brain that is used for interpreting sight, which is your visual cortex, if they take whatever feeds signals from your ears and they connect that part to the part of the brain that helps you to see, you see that the part of the brain that we think is meant for sight is actually able to still function when you connect the ear to that part of the brain. What it means is that there isn't hard boundaries for dedicated regions of the brain for interpreting different signals. And so deep learning and its connection to the human brain is along this line of thought, where in deep learning we have one algorithm. Once we start the practical aspect, you see that there are variants of gradient descent which are all meant to speed up the learning process and also to improve the accuracy of your models. But at the end of the day, it is the same basic function operations that you perform no matter what type of problem you are going to try to solve. So the recap of this episode is that there is a link between AI, ML, and deep learning, where machine learning or ML is a subset of AI, and so it is an approach to AI, and deep learning is an approach to ML. Now, the distinction between ML and deep learning is that in ML, we have dedicated algorithms for solving different types of machine learning problems. But when you come to deep learning, we have one algorithm and a variant of it that is not completely different that helps us to target a whole lot of problems, like a set of problems with the same algorithm, where you don't need to learn SVM, you don't need to learn decision trees, logistic regression, linear algebra. When it comes to deep learning, you throw the same algorithm and then you throw different data sets at it, but the algorithm is still able to learn representations of patterns in your data and be able to classify, distinguish, or make predictions on new data sets that it has never seen before. So this is the link between AI, ML, and deep learning. So thank you once again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video, where I'm going to start talking to you about machine learning. So as you can see, we are moving from AI to machine learning, and then from machine learning we begin to start talking about deep learning, which is the focus of this course. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.